Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Here's Eddie Frederick.
So glad you can join us. St. Lucia's opposition demands referendum on that country joining the CCHT. This story takes the lead in today's edition of Caribbean Perspective for Wednesday, 1st March 2023. Details when we return.
Hubbard's Multi-Department Mount Gay and Hubbard's Tire Bay, located at the Building Supplies Compound in Grand Anse, are reminding the motoring public that another round for licensing and inspection has begun. Just arrived on new shipments of quality furrowed and torque tires to fit all makes and models of vehicles at competitive pricing. Shop early to avoid the hassle of long lines. WhatsApp them on 473-405-5482. Hubbard's, quality service, affordable prices.
Welcome back. The United Workers' Party in St. Lucia continues to vehemently oppose any move towards the Caribbean Court of Justice without a direct vote through a referendum. HTS News Force's Solage Alfred fills us in.
Because they seem intent to make this decision by themselves. I don't understand. If you think your argument is so great, and this is such a great thing for the people of St. Lucia, allow the people of St. Lucia, give them the choice.
No referendum, no CCJ. This was the refrain echoed by the opposition United Workers' Party supporters as they marched through the streets of Choiseul over the weekend. The opposition and its surrogates continue to be infuriated over St. Lucia's planned move to make the Caribbean Court of Justice its final court of appeal. On Monday, a leader of the opposition, Alain Chasney, held a press conference to discuss, amongst other matters, what he has labeled the undemocratic transition to the CCJ. Chasney has taken issue with the appointment of Attorney-at-Law Thaddeus Antoine to a select committee. The legal eagle was nominated by the Regional Law Fraternity, but Chasney is not happy.
How did Thaddeus Antoine just become appointed to a committee that selects the judges for the CCJ? How? These are questions that have to be answered.
The rule of law, according to Chasney, is the most crucial factor, dismissing the notion of cultural sensitivity in what he believes is the quest for a system of blind justice. He challenges a man considered a foremost legal mind and luminary around the world, former Chief Justice of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court, Sir Dennis Byron, that the CCJ decision can be undone.
Say Lucia decides to go back to the council, that can happen. You explain the process.
So Lucia, that's not true. I would challenge him on that. Privy Council has made it very clear. Once you go, you're gone. There's no coming back.
Opponents of the indirect vote on the CCJ point to the perceived poor condition of the lower courts, torpid criminal justice system, and an overcrowded prison at Bodily Correctional Facility in their vehement aversion to accession. The naysayers say the lower courts must first be reformed before replacing the Privy Council with the CCJ. Solage Alfred, HTS News Force.
Minister of Labour and Immigration in the Bahamas reveals some immigration applicants have submitted fraudulent documents. This ZNS News item has more.
A warning in from officials identifying several red flags and documents submitted by persons applying for work permits with glaring inconsistencies. Minister of Labor and Immigration, the Honorable Keith Bell, claims a number of cases have already been addressed where persons applying for naturalization status have been denied due to submitting essentially fraudulent documents.
Where doctors are issuing medical certificates, and the medical certificates are saying that they would have examined the individual and found him to be medically fit. In one case, the individual was in our custody, so it was impossible for the doctor to have actually examined that individual. The other person had been deported, and these are not isolated cases. I would have issued to the doctors a very stern warning to cease and desist, to stop.
Now, Bell says this matter is concerning, especially as oftentimes those documents are used by applicants to formulate grounds for Bahamian status.
When you sign on those documents and I see a signature on it and it's authenticated and it's genuine, it means that the person may very well be issued with a work permit. They may be issued with a permanent residence. They may be issued with a citizenship of the Bahamas based on your signature on those documents. So it is the onus then is on you to clog that hole. But if we have to clog the hole, it would not be very good.
The Jamaica Constabulary Force, the JCF, is indicating more effort is required to tackle the growing threat of white-collar crimes in Jamaica, even as the country grapples with increased incidents of homicide in recent years. Nicola Brown of CVM Live reports.
Jamaica Constabulary Force Senior Communications Strategist Dennis Brooks is calling for more efforts to tackle incidents of white-collar crime in the country. This follows a recent study that reveals the majority of white-collar crimes are committed in parishes such as Manchester, St. Elizabeth, and Clarendon, especially among the average 31 age group between 2015 to 2022. The research also reflects males are responsible for more than half of the white-collar crimes reported.
I do think that more effort needs to be made in relation to the Private Sector Organization of Jamaica, the Manufacturing Association of Jamaica, and other employers' federation, for instance, the JEF, also needs to do more to empower employers to be on the lookout or to be how to identify white-collar crimes and to put in place the systems to identify how are potentially employees trying to steal from your business.
He adds employers are now requesting criminal records for employees before hiring.
This is almost the new norm, which is why we're seeing a significant demand for criminal records at our criminal records office downtown and in our other offices, because people want to try to give themselves the best possible chance of hiring someone with integrity.
Meantime, he notes white-collar crimes tend to proliferate in modernized societies as they become more technical by nature.
They are more complicated, and as a result, there is a gap between when the crime is committed and when the crime is detected, and ultimately when an offender is arrested and charged. And so if people are unaware that they are being robbed, then they won't know to make an alarm. So sometimes it feels like a victimless crime because you're stealing from an entity sometimes.
Nicola Brown, CVM Live.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick.
There are presently just over 100 criminal gangs in Trinidad and Tobago. That is the latest data provided by a Deputy Police Commissioner to Parliament's Joint Select Committee on Monday. This as Police Service is seeking to shut down the business model behind the larceny of motor vehicles. TV6's Jewel Brown reports.
During Monday's public hearing of the Parliament's Joint Select Committee on National Security, the committee's chairman, Government MP Keith Scotland, sought some updated data about criminal gangs in Trinidad and Tobago from the new Police Commissioner, Ulla Herwood Christopher. The top cop directed Acting Deputy Police Commissioner in charge of Intelligence and Investigations, Kurt Simon, to respond.
Simple question, how many gangs? Members. Short answer.
And funny enough, it's a number that I am having some issues with because the variation seems to be changing, I guess, and because of when we operationalize what the law says and what the law determines a gang to be, you're getting numbers to be changed. So a gang would be two or more persons getting together. You understand? So that tends to hamper what we. So our last figure is 104 gangs,
yes.
And I can't remember the actual numbers of persons who are involved in terms of the number. I can't recall.
We would want that in writing for this committee, please.
Sure thing.
Deputy Police Commissioner Simon also fielded questions from committee member Paul Richards, an independent senator, about the number of vehicles stolen from 2017 to 2022.
2017, 1,095, 2018, 1,046, 2019, 892,
2020, 788. 2021, 612, which was the lowest in the period, and a big jump in 2022 to 1,511, totaling for that 5-year period 5,944, making for 1,310 recovered, but 4,634 not recovered. This is a business model, an illegal business model, but clearly someone is benefiting tremendously from the larceny vehicles in Trinidad and Tobago. What is the TTBS doing about this?
Senator Richards said the data was quite startling.
And I'm glad that you have realized and even described it as a business model. And that is how we are approaching it, because we have seen it to be a business model. And the figures are indeed staggering, and they are of concern to us. In fact, we have a special project that has begun perhaps 2 to 3 weeks ago, dealing with the larceny motor vehicles.
Deputy Police Commissioner Simon said the project actually began before that 2 to 3 week period he mentioned, because the police service was collating and analyzing the relevant data.
What we are doing now is very promising. The potential of it is to actually shut down that whole business model of the larceny motor vehicle enterprise.
It doesn't seem like this could happen without, and this is my suggestion, you have no evidence to support this, some complicity at some level in licensing department. You can't get rid of 4,634 vehicles that were stolen. Either split them up to sell them in parts or resell them illegally without some kind of...
So our investigations, I can assure you, they are and would be far-reaching.
The committee's chairman sought clarification.
Yes, sir, the stolen vehicle squad is still operational. However, added to that, we are using our intelligence units and the divisional gang units. They have all been employed in dealing with this scourge, because we see it as a serious attack on affront on our citizenry.
DCP Simon said the Financial Intelligence Bureau, as well as the Strategic Services Agency, are part of the effort to bring an end to the stolen vehicle business in Trinidad and Tobago. Jewel Brown, TV6 News.
In the meantime, the president of the Downtown Merchants Association, Gregory Aboud, says the time has come for all parliamentarians to join forces in the fight against crime. He says the situation is out of control and the Commissioner of Police needs all the support she can get. TV6 News files this report.
It's a shame that so soon after Carnival we should get back into this mess, this tangle of so many murders.
The views of President of the Downtown Owners and Merchants Association, Gregory Aboud, who says parliamentarians must play a more active role in the fight against crime.
I think it's high time that the members of Parliament recognize that their job is not to assume either a critique of the other side or posting in some ministerial portfolio in which they have nothing to do with crime, and crime is somebody else's portfolio. Crime is a portfolio of every member of Parliament. I'd be very interested to know if they know who the sergeant or the inspector is in the station, or who is the superintendent in the division, and is there any communication taking place? It'd be very interesting to find out.
Mr. Aboud says now is not the time to give up and called on stakeholders to support the Commissioner of Police.
It's a bit early to make an assessment, and I think the country has to be patient with this new commissioner in terms of wanting to get instant results. Are we only going to turn our eyes to the commissioner and expect that, we could get the results that we need in a situation that is such a widespread national crisis? We have written to her to congratulate her and to pledge the same level of cooperation that we had with her two predecessors. And we remain open to meeting with her, of course, and to being called upon if we could provide any support and assistance. I must say that the two predecessors of this current commissioner were very good at listening. They listened to us in the downtown city center. And in as much as we are welcoming this new commissioner, I would like to bid a fond farewell to Mr. Jacob for the service he provided to the city of Port of Spain.
Aksha Galston, TV6 News.
Hubbard's is once again innovating the way you shop with its new online store, providing 24-hour shopping convenience. You can shop now for appliances, hardware, houseware, building material, and more. Free delivery island-wide. Start shopping now at hubbartshardware.gd. Safe, convenient, reliable.
I am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean. In the meantime, please continue to log on to CaribbeanPerspective.com for more daily news and more.